What is up? Here are the results for week 1 of my 12-week Shredding for Summer series. Current weight is 181 as of this morning, and for this video I really wanted to share my experience for week 1, because if you are starting your own journey, or maybe you've been in your journey and you've experienced some of these things, hopefully you can learn from it and make these adjustments accordingly to make this whole process that much easier. And I do want to start off by saying these macros are mine for my needs, my training is for my needs, so just because I am doing something, it doesn't necessarily mean that by just copying it, you will get the same results, so take this with a grain of salt. So my macros, I have them right here on this handy dandy post-it note. On training days, I am hitting 200 grams of protein, 260 grams of carbs, and 40 fat. So that comes out to 2,200 calories total for training days. And on non-training days, it's a little bit different. I'm cutting carbs a little, so it's 200 protein still, 220 carb, and then 40 fat. So that comes out to about 2,000 calories. I am doing a form of carb cycling, and if you're just starting out and you're still trying to figure out how to get macro tracking down, I would say just do a straight deficit. Don't worry about carb cycling or calorie cycling or anything just yet. But if you are more advanced and you're more intermediate, I think that by doing something like a carb cycle or calorie cycle can really help you speed up this process just a little bit more. So for this cut, I'm keeping fats really low at 40 grams. Usually I'm eating anywhere from 80, even maybe 90 some days. And what I've noticed throughout this whole first week is that my hunger is crazy. I have not experienced hunger like this in a very long time. The reasoning behind that is because fats are so low, that means my body is processing and burning through the carbohydrates so much faster. So basically these carbs are just running through me because I don't have that dietary fat to slow things down. And something I've been dealing with is really feeling like I'm eating a lot of food, just because 200 grams of protein for me is a lot. I typically shoot for 150 to maybe even 180, but 200 grams is a lot for me. So what I actually mean by that is I can have a meal and within an hour or two, I'm already starting to feel that hunger pick up. I've been really having to adjust my meal timing, because I was eating a little bit earlier just because I'm doing my fasted walks in the morning. I'll get to that when I talk about cardio, but I've actually pushed my first meal back a little bit later, just so that I can actually have my meals a little bit closer to each other, and then have my last meal at around 6 or 7, so that I can actually get ready for bed. But really playing around the meal timing has been actually big for me, because it has helped me stay consistent with hitting my calories and macros. And you're gonna be hungry when you're in a deficit. That's kind of given. But there are a few things that you can do to actually make this process easier, so you're not starved all day, which is a really big reason why people tend to, quit or give up, is because they start to feel this ravenous hunger. And again, there are a few things you can do, like making sure you're eating enough protein. Alright, number 2 is filling up with fiber. So a really good general recommendation is 15 grams per 1,000 calories. So if you were eating 2,000 calories, you'd want to shoot for 30 grams of fiber. Making sure to also pick voluminous foods, and that kind of goes in with fiber, but fruits and vegetables, you can eat a lot of them and they don't have that many calories, right? So really think about trying to fill your belly as much as possible with as low calories as possible. And that also means that you could switch up your protein sources, right? Maybe you're eating leaner cuts of meat, which are less fatty, in turn being less calories for more protein. So little swaps like that can really make this process easier for you. I also forgot to mention, you should be sleeping. One poor night of sleep can totally throw off your hunger signals, and it can make cravings a lot worse, specifically for sugary stuff. So be careful on that and get good sleep. All right, let's talk about my training. So I am doing a 4-day split, meaning I am in the gym 4 days a week, and that's going to be a push, pull, upper, and lower split. And the reason why I'm doing legs only once is because I've always had bigger legs. Legs is not an area I'm lacking. I'm actually lacking on my upper body, so that's kind of why I'm putting more of an emphasis on that compared to lower body. So that is why I'm doing that training split. And one of the big differences with my training right now is that I am training to failure, and usually my normal day-to-day I am training to 1 to 2 RIR, or RPE is another way people say it. That stands for reps in reserved, or rate of perceived exertion. Essentially, what that means is on my last rep, I could do 1 to 2 more reps with perfect form. But now that I'm training to failure, that means my final rep of the set is my last perfect form rep. Me training like that is also playing into why my hunger is so kicked up. And that's a really good sign that your body is actually responding to these changes, because as we pick up training intensity, that means that our body is demanding more calories, right? Or having those hunger signals. So that's a really good thing to have. So let's actually go and talk about my cardio. I have been doing a 2-mile fasted walk every single morning, and this has to be, out of everything I'm doing for this 12 weeks, it has to be the biggest disruptor of my lifestyle and schedule. I like to just wake up, roll out of bed, brush my teeth, wash my face, make my coffee, and get to work. It typically takes me around 30 minutes, which isn't a really long time, but I am still getting used to that. It has gotten a lot easier, but it's still a challenge. And this is something that I have a lot of resistance to do, and that really just means I don't want to do it. But I am doing it for a few reasons. Number one, it helps reduce stress. Number two, it does reset my circadian rhythm, which means that I am sleeping much better. And fun fact, actually, this whole last half of the week, I would say, I've been actually waking up before my alarm clocks. So that kind of varies, but sometimes I'll wake up 20 minutes before my alarm clock. Sometimes I'll wake up a full hour before my alarm clock, and I feel good. I feel well rested, and that's a really good sign that my circadian rhythm has been reset, and I'm actually getting really high quality sleep, so much so that I'm waking up naturally without the alarm. So that's super cool. And one of the last reasons why I'm doing fasted walking in the morning is because when we wake up in the morning, our insulin is at the lowest. On top of that, our stored energy, or glucose, is actually at the lowest point too. So you have stored energy in your muscles and your liver, and then all of that excess is actually stored as body fat. So now that your liver stores are gone, your muscle stores are gone because they're used up when you're sleeping to keep you alive. Things like breathing, digesting, all of that, they're at their lowest point as well. So to fuel your longer workouts or your longer walk, you're actually using more body fat for energy. Now, I did have a free meal, which is a part of my plan. That means one meal out of the week I can have free, right? I don't have to track it. I can just enjoy myself, and that could be, an appetizer, an entree, maybe even a dessert. And that just really helps you to not overwhelm yourself and over stress about following this plan. It's really just a mental ease off of being on a diet. But I will say, the way that I'm thinking about my free meals is that I'm not actually planning on taking a free meal every single week, just because I know that life will naturally have me have a free meal, right? So just like I flew to Maui over the weekend, there was one meal, my last dinner there specifically, where it was a bunch of us. We went out to dinner. I tried to look at the menu to see if they had any clean, lean sources of protein, but we ended up getting some garlic noodles, miso salmon, this peanut chicken thing. Delicious. I ate it, I didn't stress about it, and that's it. Now, I was mindful about my calorie intake. I had everything. I enjoyed myself, but I made sure not to, overgorge myself, and to just be mindful that I still do have goals. And the week that I just went through, like dealing with that hunger, training so hard, getting up to do these 2-mile fasted walks, the way that I think about, free meals is it's only going to slow down my progress. I don't want to undo all of that hard work I just did. If it happens naturally, so be it. But I'm not going to be planning specifically to have one every single week, and that's just my personal preference. Maybe you do need to plan one and follow it every week, but I've been doing this for so long, and I'm a little bit more mature in my journey, So maybe you do need to have that little mental ease off of your plan, and that's perfectly fine. Again, it all comes down to what you can stick to in the long run. All right, so the results of week 1, I lost 2.2 pounds. I weighed in at 183.2 on April 30th, and my average weight for this week was 181.8. That is week 1 down. Stay tuned for week 2, and if you want to follow along on this journey, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to talk, leave your comments down below and let's chat.